Good evening and welcome to another edition of Mental Health Mondays, brought to you by Saving Grace Community Church and Grace House of Cincinnati, a nonprofit and ministry of Saving Grace Community Church. We're excited this week because this is the week that will begin next week with Mother's Day. This coming Sunday is Mother's Day. And it's a day where 85 million women will have the right and are eligible to be celebrated for being a mother. The first Mother's Day was back in 1908, May 10th of 1908, started by Anna Jarvis, and it was made a national holiday by President Woodrow Wilson in 1914. And we've been celebrating mothers as a nation since then. Mother's Day is the third largest card sending holiday as well. Over 113 million cards are exchanged every Mother Day. Now, I've been saying all through the years that so many people get excited and get hyped and get overwhelmed and get all in on Mother's Day. And sometimes frankly, as a dad, I feel some type of way, because really I believe that mothers get all the glory and the dad's just like, yeah, okay, it's just another day. But I never could find proof to back up that feeling that I had, but I've got proof. National Retail Federation says that 76% of people plan to celebrate Father's Day this year. That's compared to 84% on Mother's Day. Now, here's a real kicker. We'll spend $25 billion on mothers, but we only spend $16 billion on dads. I have a problem with that. But we understand, because moms are special. They are unique. And we love our moms, and dads truthfully can go without being celebrated. But we're always excited about Mother's Day. They're special people. I remember when I was a child, one of the first songs I ever sang the solo was this song called Mother, and it goes like, M is for the million things she gave me. O means only that she's growing old. T is for the tears she shed to save me. H is for a heart of purest gold. E is for her eyes with love light shining. R means right, and right she'll always be. Put them all together, they spell mother, a word that means the world to me. And I'm sure that a lot of people tonight that are watching tonight, will be watching in the days ahead, have that same sentiment about their mom. Well, tonight we are going to be joined by three powerful and marvelous moms tonight. Marvelous moms. And the first person we want to welcome to our show tonight is Andrea Chandler Hall. Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
Second person we'd like to add tonight, if you'll unmute yourself, is Kisa Ely, Minister Kisa Ely.
Hello.
And one of the greatest moms of all time, Sister Yvonne Ely.
That's my mom.
Everybody. Welcome to the show on tonight. The question is, how long have you guys been moms? And how many children do you have? We can start with Andrea and swing around to Kisa, then to Mother Ely.
So my oldest is 9, will be 10 this month, and I have 2 kids.
Okay, all right.
I have been a mom for almost 23 years on
Wow.
the 18th of this month, and I've been blessed with only one child.
All right.
No more.
Sister Yvonne.
I have 6 children,
Mhm.
and they start from 57 all the way down to 45.
All right. Well, it's just awesome because, one of the things that as we've all grown up in our different eras, and particularly Andrea, Keith, and I, television moms became very popular. And I know probably back in the day, maybe Sister Ely was probably June Cleaver was probably popular. But for us, we had to deal with the Carol Brady's, the Clara Huxtables. We had to deal with the Vivian Banks. And they portrayed an image of motherhood. Here's a clip that features Vivian Banks from The Fresh Prince.
Say hello to your new son.
We should get a picture of this. Doc, would you do the honors?
Sure. Look, he looked like a little black Yoda.
He's adorable. Hello, little Nicholas Andrew Banks.
Smile!
Well, honey, you and Carlton will look out for each other, won't you?
Oh, come on, absolutely, Aunt Viv. We got each other back.
Great, great, great. You two just be careful. There are a lot of sick, demented perverts out there.
Greetings, all.
Hello, Jazz.
I brought a gift for baby Dickie.
Nick.
Whatever. I know it's 5 months late, but I wanted to find just the right thing.
This is very sweet of you, Jazz. Thank you.
You know, Miss Banks, since you had that baby, there's something different about you.
Seeing that clip, the question comes to mind: how excited, Andrea, were you to become a mom?
So becoming a mom for me was a journey. It didn't happen automatically like a lot of women, like it happens. So I actually had fertility issues, and I actually ended up doing IVF to get pregnant. So getting pregnant for me was a true miracle and a blessing, and something I didn't know for sure that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
So when it did happen, just overjoyed, because I know so many people who are going on the same path, and that wasn't their outcome. So that was my story.
So it was something that you wanted. You really wanted to become a mom, and so you were willing to not only invest the time but invest the money too.
Right.
Did you feel at first kind of cheated that perhaps you saw other folks getting pregnant just by the wind blowing, and then you had to struggle? Did you, how did you deal with that? Did you feel this God was with you or against you?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to feel that way about other people getting pregnant around you. You want to feel happy for people, but it does at the same time make you think about your own situation and, well, why isn't this happening for me? So I didn't feel like God had left me or anything like that. I know I had actually prayed to God that if this was supposed to be my path in life, to not have kids, that he was going to have to help me accept that, because I wasn't at a point where I felt okay about that.
Mm-hmm.
Not having kids. So because I know that's some people's path in life, they they just don't have kids, and God allows them to be okay with that and to deal with that, and they're parents to other kids in different ways and things. But yeah,
because emotionally and spiritually, some people, and really Sister Yvonne reminds me that they just got that mother thing going. It's just a part of their makeup, and then it's an emotional and spiritual piece. But then there's some physically, women who will just spit out children,
right?
And you'll never know by looking at their physique that it seems like, well, are you sure you had a child? Keith, what about you? Tell us a little about your journey to motherhood and how excited were you? Or
You sure you want to hear this one?
Yes, we do.
Well, I'm gonna keep it PG because my mama on here. So be honest with you. My daughter was a surprise, and I shouldn't say, I was just being fast and I got caught. That's what it was, because I was a single.
Right.
Keep it real. See, my mama even keep clicking in and out. Bless her soul.
Yeah, we lost her. Here she goes. All right.
Look,
It's doing what it does what it wants to do.
it's all right, Mom. So, mother, I will say, I will. All jokes aside, even though motherhood wasn't planned,
I can't control that.
but you can. I know, Mom, but you see, this is what happens.
It's all good. It's all good. Just stay with us. Hang with us. Hang with us, Sister Ely.
Lord Jesus, help my mama. But I will say, for me, I guess my daughter has saved my life, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Because I was that girl that kicked it all the time, I like to be out in the streets, I wasn't trying to go to jail, I didn't have a name for myself, like that, but I like to have a kick. I like to kick it.
Like flower or sunshine. Or, I got you.
Oh, yeah. People understand what that means in a second. But I would say that she saved my life. She was amazing. My daughter is the love of my life. And the blessing part, I had an awesome, I guess I want you to say, mentor or mother figure to model after. So I've been really truly blessed. But motherhood was not in my path. I wanted to be the rich auntie.
Right.
I'm the broke mama.
So motherhood just kind of snuck up on you, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I would say it was snuck up on me. I don't even know if you can say snuck up, because you know what you're doing when you ain't in that space.
Right.
But it was never. It was as a kid, it was never a thing that I dreamt about, of becoming a mom or a wife and things of that nature. It just happened. God said, "You doing too much," and poof, let the seed be planted. Right.
Oops, gotcha. I got you. Well, Sister Yvonne, tell us a little about your journey. You said you had 6 children. Was that a conversation that you had with
Yes.
with former Pastor Ely, my great friend? Was that just what happened? Or was it just okay? He said, "Mom, we're gonna have 6." Is that how, brother?
No.
That's my best. That's the best imitation of your husband. Go ahead.
No. That's not. No, that's not exactly how it comes about. We're talking about 50-some years ago. And no, I married when I was 18 and he was 19. And so the expectations during that time was for you to have children, but I was still in college. And so the requirement was, if we got married, I couldn't have any children until I graduated, which it occurred just late. And did I plan for them? No, absolutely not. And being very honest and transparent. I remember even when they were in high school and they were in education class and they brought the paper home, they said, "Ask your mom and dad, did they have any Planned Parenthood?" No, we did not. I said, "Put an F on that paper and take them back to your parents' field," because we just kept on having children. They were just like popcorn. They just kept coming. So,
well, how old were you
when
that
came about? But
how old were you?
So blessed.
And how old when you had your first child?
How old was I when I had my first child? My first child when I was 20.
Okay. Oh wow.
I turned 21 the next day.
Now, was that something that you, as a child growing up, did you say, when I get up, I'm gonna be a mama?
No, that was never a focus. Our focus was that you grow up and be successful and, be productive in the world. Children were not That's a fruit of it afterwards, but it was not a focus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you wanted children, but it wasn't like that's what I'm striving for.
Mm-hmm. They came along, and if you had them, it was fine. If not, it
They
was.
showed up.
And then came, if all of them, and then finally, at the end of the road, here comes Keisha, right? The best for last, right? Oh, you said something that was very
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
Keisha. Go ahead.
Listen.
Mm-hmm. Whenever you come back, just start speaking, mother. I'm gonna move.
What was I saying?
I was gonna ask.
That I was saying.
I'm gonna. You said it just came along. I said about Keisha, the best for last, and you said, "Listen, you was about to testify about Keisha." We'll come back and hear you.
Keisha always. She always talking about what that she was best thing since ice cream, and really she puts a lot of fun in this family. She brings a lot of joy to this family, but all of them together are a comedy act all by themselves.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, Andrea,
she thinks she's the superstar.
I am, boo.
Self-proclaimed. Well, Andrea, I'm going to ask you. Your mom was a beautiful lady. Jocelyn was a wonderful lady. She's gone home to be with the Lord. What are some of the Keisha, she briefly alluded to, and we'll swing back about, some things her mom was an example. How was your mom an example to you in terms of how you are a mother, and how as what you saw and you witnessed firsthand experience has shaped your approach to being a mother?
So I'll start by saying I'm similar to her, but not in parenting necessarily. I feel like my mom was made more like nurturing. Not that I'm a terrible person, but
Right.
Nurturing, compassionate. I'm more of the parent, like, you fail, okay, get up. You're fine.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
She would be the more like, oh, okay, come here, baby, let me go. I don't really do that, but I mean, she's probably like one of the best examples of a mother. I mean, she always looked out for our best interest. She was never, too hard on us or anything like that. She was just, it's like she was one of those people who was born to be a mother.
And so when you think about your mom and being a mother, what do you think your mom would say about what you're doing now? What grade would she give you in terms of motherhood? What advice?
Oh, well, she'd probably give me an A because I'm her kid.
Right.
But she had a lot of insight into me and my brother as we grew up, and also even my kids, because when she passed away, my youngest was 11 months old and my oldest was 2.5. So they don't have a lot of memories of her on their own, but I was able to see her be a grandmother, for that short amount of time. And, she could just see things in them that have actually come about now as they've gotten older. She's, about my daughter, she's like, I bet you're just going to be a chatterbox when you get older. I can't wait till you get to elementary school. I bet you're just going to be talking. And that's exactly how she is now. She just talks nonstop. And my son, the first, she passed away in December, and so we had Christmas early that year. And the present that she got them both, she got my daughter a karaoke machine, and she sings now. She sings a lot. And she got my son a basketball hoop, and now he's like a giant, and he likes to play basketball. So I think she was very intuitive, in a natural level and a spiritual level too.
Wow. Wow. Keisha, what one quality do you admire in your mom, and what's one that's kind of a transferable thing that's kind of transferred onto you and your style of mothering?
Oh wow. My mom's strongest attribute is that she always instilled in us positivity. Like there was nothing that we couldn't do, to achieve anything in our lives. She never looked at what we felt inside of us that was a failure to us. Never looked at that was like as a disappointment. Even though she could have been frustrated, I never felt like my mom was ever disappointed in us. Now she could be mad. Now hold on, she wasn't always safe with Jesus. She was always supportive in whatever we did, whether it was good, failed, and things of that nature. Now, I will say the attribute probably I got from my mama is that I'm probably bossy. That's
okay.
It's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm very assertive when it comes to my kid. There's certain things I'm like,
Right.
and I even come up with the sayings, I don't know if y'all parents did this, but did they make up some sayings that don't even make sense? Like I'm gonna smack the toothpaste out your mouth and you ain't got no toothpaste in your mouth. I don't give a rat's tail. When the rats have tails, all of those little things that I kind of picked up from my mom in that space. But like you said, Andrea, my mom has that spirit of being compassionate to others. I didn't get that in that department. God is still working with this one right here. I'm one of those to be like, you hurt yourself, wipe it, because I'm. But she did all right. I think you did. Didn't you do that, boo?
If you guys were in the same physical space, you guys would be high-fiving. I can just tell.
Pretty much high five. High five.
With mothers, you guys got so much to do, and Sister Ely being a mother of six, that's a big responsibility. One of the responsibilities that moms have is that of being a kind of a house manager. You got to manage things in the house, and I know my mom. I just remember, and all moms, she'll come back to us. That can be a stressful thing in terms of you got to manage that. And sometimes, well, I tell you what, let's look at one of my favorite TV moms. We're going to watch this clip, and then you tell me if you can identify with this clip right here.
Good morning, Mama. Don't move. I want to remember you just as you are. A vision of loveliness. One perfect and exquisite rose.
That's not much coming from one tall weed. I wouldn't fall for that crock if you were Harry Belafonte.
But Mama...
Shut up, JJ. Get out of that blanket. You look like the tent pole of a teepee.
Mama, could it be possible that I'm turning you off?
Move it. Move it. Why aren't you stirring this oatmeal?
I didn't know it was cooking, Mom.
It's not. It's burning. And if you didn't drown yourself with all that fancy toilet water, you'd have smelled it.
Sorry, Mom.
I've got to go down to the laundry room. Just keep stirring, girl. If you find a lump in it, just unlump it. Michael, what are you doing?
Just trying to stay out of your way, Mama.
Well, then do something useful and make up your bed.
Okay, Mom.
Oh, never mind. You always mess it up anyway. I'll do it when I get back. I should have been born an octopus. You need 8 hands to run this house.
Have you ever felt like Florida? Andrea, have you ever felt like Florida?
Yeah. Luckily, one thing I did inherit, and I don't know which parent it's from. I'm very organized. So I have a calendar in my house. It's a dry erase calendar, and I fill it out every month. Everybody's appointments, everybody's practices, everybody's everything is on the calendar. So if the kids need to know what's going on today, I say, go look at the calendar. And then they can see, oh, okay, I have piano practice today. Oh, I have this. So when it comes to things in the house, I tend to be like that too. Because when things get out of whack in the house and out of control, it takes you so long to get back. Mm-hmm. So I try to keep it tight.
So you've never had a day that you just let your kids have it, like, you know what, let me tell you something.
Oh yeah. Yeah, kids try to get over on you all the time. They try to make their bed and then it's not really made. They try to clean their room and then there's toys under the dresser, or try to stuff in the closet. Yeah, so there's always those times where kids try to take the shortcut.
Well, and that can be frustrating. I mean, Sister Yvonne, I don't know if you're worried of that clip, but have you ever came home, because you were a school teacher, right? Yeah, and are you with me? Can you hear Sister Yvonne? And so, have you ever came home dealing with other people's kids? My mom was a school teacher, so yes, I can. My mom was a school teacher, and I know very oftentimes she would say, "I done deal with all these kids, other people's kids. Now, y'all need to get it together." Have you had those days where you just came home and let your kids have it?
Yes.
Oh, you can answer that question.
But yeah, very much so. You just didn't want to see that foolery in your own children.
Right.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Well, my mom was a music educator, and folks ask me, "Well, why
they
didn't you learn?"
They got the best of me.
They got the best of you. Well, people would ask me, "Why didn't your mom teach you how to play the piano?" I said, "Cause I never practiced." And she said, "I've been dealing with kids and listening all day. You can't play. I'm not fooling. You're not gonna learn how to play." I said, "Okay, cool." Keisha, how about you? Have you had those days where you said, listen, Morgan, this is what it is"?
Yeah, let me tell you, I got a short temper. So I have a short fuse. So I have zero tolerance. My mom would tell you, it could be the littlest thing, and I can explode in 2 seconds flat. So yeah, that I don't have a calm spirit. I'm calmer now. Now that he is an adult, but I have zero patience. I was worse than Florida Evans. I'm ready to fight. It is what it is. I think I acted like that because I didn't want my child to be like me. I was scared that I was getting a dose of what I gave my mom. I wasn't a bad kid. Mom, do you think I don't think I was a bad kid. I always wanted to get into stuff, but I never tried to get in trouble. Like I didn't want to go to jail. I didn't want to get yelled at or whatever, but I found mischievous ways to do finagle through something. I was always trying to get something. So I was scared that my daughter was going to be me. So I'm like, I see little stuff like, little girl, sit down.
Well, you had one child, but for Andrea and your mom, how do you balance out the different personalities with your children and try to strike a balance to be even-handedly? And they don't say, well, do they ever say you always yelling at them and not yelling at them? Or they always get to do this and I don't get it. How do you balance that? And what helps you to be able to get?
And I don't. They do it all the time. They do it even now to this day. They'll tell me you're treating this one different than you're treating the other one. I said, you're right. Now let's move on. No problem.
You're right.
Yep. Growing up, it was always.
You're accurate in your assessment. You're right. Now get over it.
Yep. I tell them that all the time. Whatever. Absolutely. Now move on.
What about you,
because
Andrea?
You were not going to beat me up because that was your idea.
I love it. What about you, Andrea? How do you got two little ones? How do you deal with that?
Well, kids do have different personalities and different types of discipline work better on one kid than another. Now, everybody can get whooped and popped. I'm not saying don't whoop nobody.
Right.
Everybody can get that.
Right.
But you know, my son, you know, he's really into video games and things like that. So it will hurt him more if I tell him, you know, you can't play the video game for a week or something like that. Now, my daughter, she's really, you know, emotionally sensitive. So, you know, just having a talk with her might send her over the edge.
Right.
All she needs. Because that's what I needed when I was a child. All my dad had to do, like, you know, my dad, he's not he's not a yeller. He's not gonna get that upset. All he had to do was just talk to me, and I was done. Like, I'm crying, I'm losing it. So my daughter's more like that. My son, when he was younger, he did something, and I was like, well, for dinner, you know, I thought I was really gonna show him something. Like, for dinner, you're gonna eat a mustard sandwich. That's all you're getting. Like, yellow mustard, just mustard. He ate that sandwich and he asked for another one. He thought it was good. I was like, okay, that's not gonna work. It's not gonna work for him.
That's hilarious. Oh wow. Well, mom's got to have that skill. They got to be able to, and they've got to know. Here's one of the favorite TV moms again.
Marcia?
Yes, Mother?
I sent the final program to the printers this afternoon.
I wish Harold's name wasn't in it. He was awful at rehearsal today.
Well, Marcia, I'm afraid that your name's not going to be in it.
What do you mean?
I was at the rehearsal this afternoon.
You were?
Afterwards, Miss Goodwin and I talked, and, well, we decided that for the good of the play, and your own good, she would have to replace you.
Replace me?
Yes. Your understudy's going to play Juliet.
Tina, but I'm better than her.
Marcia, it has nothing to do with your being better than she is. It's your attitude.
What do you mean, my attitude?
Well, you become rude to your friends and your family. You become impossible to live with.
Mom, you're being unfair.
Marcia, I'm not blaming you. It's not all your fault. We encouraged you, but, well, you've let it go to your head.
You don't understand, Mom.
Marcia, I do understand, but you brought all of this on yourself. I'm sorry.
Mom!
Now, Jane would say, her sister Jane would say, Marsha. What's the toughest talk, Keisha, that you've had to have with your daughter?
Ooh. What I mean, just overall?
Yeah, that was a tough conversation that Carol had to have with Marsha. She had to let her know you weren't gonna be in the show.
I just think the toughest conversation, I think right now, even I would say right now, the transition of her really becoming a woman, you know, of graduating college and just really saying you're an adult now and you have to learn how to fend for yourself. And you have to start making adult decisions. I think that was difficult because in your head, you think that you're a child. What can I say? That they know what to do. And then when you talk to them, they don't. And then you're just like, well, what have I been doing in this space? And then just being real honest and, you know, just say, hey, I may not be here tomorrow. And I'm talking about physically, emotionally, and things of that nature. I may not be here. So I think right now is probably the hardest conversation is for me now, transitioning from being under mom's house to being on your own.
Wow. And how receptive was she to that? I mean, how, you know, were you able to just come with it? Do you have some compassion? Did you kind of put yourself in her place, her shoes? Were you nurturing then?
No.
My thing is, I can't say I was nurturing. I'm straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say that I'm not nurturing in that space, because I do understand that transition of being out on your own. But, it's one of those things like, come on, it was hard to watch, but I was hard to have the conversation and hard to hear what she had to say. And it was more frustrating. But then you had to think for yourself as an adult that the conversation had to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I may not be here tomorrow.
Well, I think that's the reality of that in parenting, that you can be friendly towards your child, but you're not their friend. There's a boundary that has to be set. And sometimes straight talk has to be had. And so I think so many parents today, there's not a boundary, and they're more, let's kick it. Then, sometimes I have to remain in a position where I have to have these conversations.
Right. And I had my daughter at a young age. So, it was just like not younger than most people, but I'm just saying I was on my own, at 20, I was on my own, 19, Mom? 19, 20? Something around there. And, sometimes I have to get out the frame of mind that she didn't grow up in the same era as me. And I had that get up to go, and I had siblings to watch, to be out on her own. And she didn't have that. She doesn't have that, so it's almost like that. I got to mold you, but I also don't want to mold her into what I feel that she needs to be. She has to figure that out on her own. So sometimes I got to lay my hands off of her. Like, let me feed you to the wolves. No, I'm just playing.
Well, Andrea, what's the toughest conversation that you've had, that your mom has had with you? What do you think, if she were here, what would be her answer to that question? What would be the toughest conversation she had with you?
The toughest conversation she tried to have with me was probably the birds and the bees talk.
Okay.
She tried it. I think it was like on a car ride home from somewhere, and she started. I could tell she was amping herself up, and she started, and I was like, Mom, no, we don't need to do this. We don't have to do this. So she kind of got in and got out.
Right.
That probably was the most, that was probably the one.
And Sister Ely, I want to ask you the same question, but thinking about when you were growing up, what do you think if your mom, when we had access to your mom, what would be the response in terms of what was the toughest conversation you think your mom had to have with you?
I need to have a conversation with my mama. I don't know what's going on with her.
She's in technology, going in and out. Well, yeah. I'll swing back to you, Andrea. What conversation are you regretting to have with your daughter? You're not looking forward to that. You're like, I'm not going to be.
I mean, the birds and the bees is never fun for anybody.
Right.
That's going to have to be had. That puberty, becoming a womanish talk, explaining all that and how that happens, won't be fun. She's embarrassed by me in general. So probably anything that I do will be embarrassing. So my son doesn't get embarrassed by me. My daughter does. So we can be in a grocery store and I'll start dancing in the aisle and my son will join in and she will walk away. She will act like she's not with me. She will start reading labels of groceries when I try to talk to her. So probably everything will embarrass her.
Well, you brought up an interesting dynamic. You having a boy and a girl. Is there a different approach you take to your interacting with your son than with your daughter?
Yeah. He actually is he's sensitive as well, but in a different kind of way. So like he likes to cuddle, like he would sleep in the bed with me every night if I let him. He's that kind of kid. But I do try to treat him, differently because he is a boy. I don't want to treat him like a girl because he's a boy. So if I do certain things with my daughter, like we go get our hair braided or something like that, then I'll try to make a special a moment with him, that is something that he likes, that him and I can do, so he doesn't feel left out. And so I'm also not doing something that with him that doesn't make sense because he's a boy.
So you definitely want him to have that man edge, but you're going to be the mother. You're going to be, and that's an interesting thing, because Keisha, as a single mom, did you try to be both mother and father, or did you stay?
No. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't have to. The blessing part about it, she had a father figure in her life, so even though I was single, I was married before, and her stepdad was in her life. So I could never do that. And then I had my siblings, and my dad was there. So I never had to be like that, fortunately. And even for me, I honestly feel that women, we can't be a father. I don't care how you slice it or dice it. You can't play those roles because you've never been a man. You've never been in that. And I shouldn't say a man. You've never been in a father role to understand how to be that in that capacity. So I'm not that person when it comes to Father's Day. Be like, it's my day too. I don't know nothing about that life. I don't know. I ain't trying to.
Well, that's real, because you do see that many will say, I deserve this, and it is because men, boys, and they're not set up the same. And
we're not.
And I know sometimes we want to mesh and say there's a distinction, but there's a clear distinction. For not to be crass or crude. Generally, when I go to the restroom, I'm not going to put the toilet seat back down when I'm done. All right. So it means if you come behind me, you'll fall in. So that alone, there's some things about me that I can't tell my daughter, because she's emotional, and I don't understand sometimes why she's crying, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? I mean, come on. Why are you so emotional? I mean,
there's no way that I could teach her. Even for me, as a grown person, been married, divorced, on my own, there's some things that I have to talk to other males about, even about me raising my daughter, about relationships and things of that nature. You just can't. I mean, even for father, I don't know how to be it, and I'm not trying to. I don't want it. Sometimes I don't even want to be in the motherhood role.
Right.
So why do I need two personalities in that space? I'm cool.
That's real. That's a great segue into this final clip I want to share with Claire Huxtable.
Jeremy, Dr. Huxtable and I have known you, and we've met your parents. And up until now, we felt pretty good about you seeing Vanessa.
Well, Mrs. Huxtable, I know I brought Vanessa home a little late last night.
A little late? Jeremy, you were an hour late. But this isn't about being late, it's about telling the truth, which is something Vanessa used to do. Last night, she lied to us about why she was late for dinner. Then she lied to us about going to a friend's house when she was really going to be with you.
Vanessa and I really wanted to see each other, and she knew you guys wouldn't approve. So I told her to do whatever she had to do to get out of the house.
Jeremy, are you okay? Okay, I've had it. I'm going up here. Listen, young lady. When somebody tells you to shut your mouth, you better listen up. Please, who cares about Jeremy? Nobody's choking that boy yet.
That's my mama. That is Von Ely right there.
If a guy rode up in the house, that's how it was going down.
It's going down. First of all, he wouldn't have been able to sit in the house, and she's probably not even going to blame him. She's choking me. So.
But that whole dynamic, you see what I'm saying? That whole dynamic, the mother to the daughter, that's what that dynamic is. And just that whole exchange, that's why a mom has has to be a mom, because the way culturally, as you can see in that clip, and relationally, that's just how it works, you know?
Right.
Just how it works.
Because
So-
Bill couldn't clock on her like that.
No.
Well,
Bill was kind of in the background.
Right. He was quiet. That's what I.
that wouldn't. No. No. Sherwin Ely would have done that.
Right.
Sherwin Ely
No
would have
question about it. He would have clocked in on her and him.
And him.
Yeah, I know he would, and I pretty much got an idea what he would say. That was my boy, so I know.
Pastor Phillips here and be like, hey, Doc. I had to show him, man. I had to show him.
Yeah, Doc. Your Doc don't come up here all the time at night. I'm like, shoot, look at here, man.
Man, like, hey, boy, who you think you talk to?
Right.
Yeah, my dad didn't care if you, that's one thing I did appreciate about my dad. He treated us all the same. There was no special treatment. If you got in trouble, you got in trouble just like everybody else. You got it. I probably got it the most.
I you know, that's not hard to believe. Andrea, when you look at Mother's Day and you look at some of your friends, what is something? How would you encourage other moms today as we get ready to wrap it up? What's something how would you encourage Mother's Day? Because I don't know about you, but I go to the store sometime. I see mothers who are really aggressive with their children. Cussing them out like they were adults themselves.
Right.
What advice would you give to moms today?
I mean, I think like you had mentioned earlier, there's a line. So you don't want to be, your goal should not be to be your child's friend, but you also don't need to be on either extreme. So you don't need to be, abusive verbally, physically. You don't need your child abusing you, cussing you out, hitting you. So you don't need that either.
You don't want your child putting you on punishment.
Right. You don't want your child putting hands on you. Because I was just at I was just at Disney World, and I saw a lot of that. So find what works for you. Parent your kids how they need to be parented. There might be different ways you need to discipline or talk to your kids. Them, do what works best for that child to come out to be a whole human being and emotionally in a good place as a grown-up. You don't want the end result when they get older for them to be on a therapist's couch talking about you and how you parented them and how it scarred them. So just try to build them up, build from the inside out.
The Bible said that children are a gift from the Lord and a heritage. Keisha, what about in our closing? What advice would you have for moms as you kind of establish and have your own view and have your own commentary about motherhood today? What's some things you would say in closing?
I would say stop living vicariously through your child. I think this generation, and I get it. I know our parents wanted us to have everything that they didn't have. And I'm not speaking about my parents. I'm just speaking overall. Of course, we want the best for them, but I think we overindulge in our children, where they have lost the value of sacrifices and trying to figure out things, because the way that technology has even changed, it's instantaneous. So with that being that's the mental state that our children are in. But also, I think because maybe if we didn't have things that we wanted growing up, we try to force it on our children, and we're trying to push them to be what we wanted to them. I just say allow them to be in their own space and let them figure it out on their own. Of course, they need guidance, And that's one thing I have truly been blessed that my parents allowed me to be who I was. Now there were rules to follow, and there was, consequences that went with that. But I was still able to be me. I didn't, they noticed I couldn't be like my sister or my other siblings and stuff like that. They noticed that I was able to sing. So they didn't send me to the neighborhood high school. You're going to a performing arts school, or, so it's just take the opportunity to know who your kid is and allow them to figure it out with your guidance, of course, so that's one thing. So thanks, Mom. You did all right.
Mother Ely, as we prepare to close, and hopefully your stream won't act up on us, but just really briefly in parting, you've mothered 6, you've done a great job.
I do.
Yeah, and so just share with us what you would say to some of the moms in closing as a way of encouragement.
Well, one of the things cannot be your children's friend. God put us down here on earth to be parents. He never said in the Bible to be their friend. So that means being their parent, there is guidance that comes with it. And that has to be standard. But you as a parent has to have certain standards for yourselves before you can give some standards to your children. And one of the great that you have is introducing them to Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, whether they wanted to hear it or they don't want to hear it. It's just like you get drugged. You drug you right on to church for all the listeners. You be there or you don't, because that's ground not only your parents, but it's going to ground you. You might not pay attention right now, but later on, it's going to you to where you need to be, and give them encouragement all the time. I always told my children, there's nothing that you cannot do if you work, try, and put your best. You can succeed at that, and you don't look somebody else at what they have. Be grateful for what you have. Count your blessings for what you have, and be kind to other people. Share with other people. Do what it is that you know that is right to do at all times, and that's the best thing I can say. And both, whether your parents are together or not, I fathers, children's mother, regardless of what situation you may be in, because they are going to respect that as they get older. They will appreciate it so much more.
Wow. Well, thank you. That is a lot of wisdom. Thank you. That's a great note to end on. And you guys stick around for after this show. To our viewers, those of you who are joining us tonight, and those that will be watching this broadcast as it is rebroadcasted on another time, we want to thank you for your time and your attention. And we hope, and we do believe, that the knowledge that was shared today will be an asset to you, if not to you, if you're not a mom, to someone you know who is a mom. But until we meet again, we want to encourage you, as always, to feel better, become better, and live better. Good night. Hey, there we go. All right.